Okay, welcome to this video. Welcome if you haven't seen these videos before. Welcome back if you have. My intention is the highest levels of love, light, benevolence for all, oneness, and this is another of the Kiss Keep It Simple Starseed videos that I've been kind of sharing with you guys as of late. And I'm going to wait till the end to describe why and where this has been kind of leading, or I might not even tell you at all, and I might do it in a separate video, because I have my dear friend and sister, Sheldon, here with us today. And we've been actually talking about doing this for a while. So we're actually doing it. Now, the reason I wanted to jump in and kind of just go right into this is because I'm not going to go into like the whole background of Sheldon as of yet, because Sheldon does speak a little light language. So I'm just going to go right into that, because what happens is we get to talking, we go back and forth in light language. So for those of you who are aware of all of this, if you haven't heard light language before, it's a very high vibrational love, light energy frequency that Sheldon transmits. And I just laugh because we've already, before we hit record, we're going to talk about some synchronicities, whales, light language while we're driving, the muggle world, holding the earth in our hands. She might just start flowing into light language, and we're okay. We're just going to roll and play today, because that's why I'm doing these videos, is so that we can play, we can be in our truth, right? We can be in our authenticity and just share who we are in this now moment. And one of the cool things that I love that we just kind of briefly touched on was that a lot of us out there that speak light language, it's like sometimes it's hard not to, right? It just comes through because it's this natural part of us. And a lot of us are waking up to this. Some people think it's strange still, and that's okay. But also I wanted to kind of point out that Sheldon will do some body movements and some twitches as this energy comes in. This is very normal. And sometimes you'll see me go into spins. Sometimes I'll do weird hand movements. You guys, our body is a physical form. And as these higher energies come in, our body kind of does these adjustments. And as it adjusts, we kind of move around and do some weird sounds. I do a lot of toning. That's why I tone. Because as I tone, those are my twitches. And so Sheldon is this beautiful star seed, who just brings through these loving energies. And in case you guys are sensitive, if you haven't tapped into this yet, she does bring this entourage, or they are with her at all times.
Hi, no more shitty yet. I about hi, no, shitty, no more popo. Hi, la, more shitty. Hoi, heta, nana, shitty, nana, no more pie. Hoi, hey, nana, shitty, nana. Hoi, hey, no more popo, lady, shitty, nana, motopa.
So these are going to continue, and we're just going to let it rip. So whenever you feel like talking and speaking in this beautiful, just share. And it's almost like when you're multilingual. Sometimes if you speak French and you speak English and you can't think of the word to say.
You know, but I should be. I no more should.
And you guys, when this is going on, it's meant to be felt. You want to touch on that a little bit too, not necessarily understood on a linear level, not necessarily meant to be interpreted on a 3D scale in a harmonic. I'm seeing like when you dissect something, it doesn't need to be dissected. It can just be taken as the light that it is coming in this frequency, in this unification demonstration of waves of language.
Waves, many waves. Yes, it's just finding your frequency for your radio station. We're just radio stations.
Yeah,
it's just millions of us.
Yeah,
just trying to find our station, is to speak clearly and to be heard and understood.
Yeah, And I love the fact earlier, and again, I'm speaking, but feel free to just pop in at any time with your beautiful language. It's literally, I'll go back for just a moment. For when I first met Sheldon, I was like, you are a disruptor of
disruption.
So that was her frequency. She's a disruption of disruption. She disrupts the disruption.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said that when I go into a grocery store, the trolls or the unbalanced energies say, oh boy, here she comes. And they start running. So everyone is blessed when I walk into a grocery store or a gas station or wherever I'm shopping. They don't understand it or know it, but I know it, and it just tickles me so. And then I'll speak under my breath, light language as I'm walking by, or I'll pray and I'll ask for a mercy angel when I know, because I do have a gift of seeing things and knowing things as a medium and as a psychic. So I do see the people's souls, and I know the ones that are in a lot more trouble, because the angels really will surround them. And so I'll do a quick prayer for the whole building, 10 degrees, so that we are all covered while we're here for at least a week, because, you know, the frequency changes and your energy changes. And if the benevolent one and your angels and others are here to help you, it takes a moment to move the energy. And I'm hopeful that mercy angels come in and help you transmute the unbalanced life cycles that you're going through, and that you can see the light and know that you are magnificent. We didn't come here. I'll have to say the universe looks at us as like a Peace Corps, and they're like, oh my goodness, you know, you chose to come here to transmute and work and help the universe. You're not just helping your souls here. Yeah. We're helping the entire universe, and they can't do it without us. And we can't do it without them. So very important. We're very, very important.
I love the fact that you're even bringing part of the fact, one of the things I love about your energy is you're just here. You're just walking through the grocery store, bringing what you have. Yes. And I love the fact that they don't have to know.
They don't know. And my family, they don't even know what I do.
Thank you for bringing that up.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Not that they would love me any less. Mm-hmm. It's just, I know, like when you're working, you're not going to express it to everyone when you're at work, because work is a different place. And,
right.
And, but you can see the elevation of my energy change a room when I walk in.
Right.
Oh, they're very busy, these beings. Today they're really talking.
They are. Right before we jumped on, I was just toning, because my guidance team was like, you're going to have to step it up a notch, Carrie. Yeah. So what happens is, you guys, we are shifting. Well, I could go into 5 different tangents here. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat we can. It's multidimensional. It's going to go where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But your light language. So those of you out there who hear light language and start speaking it, this is what happens. So it's interaction. I'm going to start speaking some light language too, that in response to yours. And I know we wanted to address briefly, it's not necessarily meant to be understood. Yeah. However, and it's meant to be felt. And I'm going to talk about this at the end. So remind me, or I'll have to remind myself. And I'm thinking we'll go for about an hour.
Okay.
So some language is going to come through. I think we're just going to rip a little bit back and forth. And then we'll talk a little bit more about this.
Eta la la mo popo. Shatita e. Oh tai tai shito.
So this is just conversations, and we'll maybe go into some interpretation later, because I can kind of feel what's going on with the frequencies in the language. And for me, my interpretation is based on my perception of reality. And
Yes.
somebody else that has a different perspective can interpret it in a different way, and none of it's wrong. But ultimately, it's love and light. So I'm hearing release the fear that's in the stomach.
Oh,
Let go of the fear. Open up that higher heart, which helps us to open through our throats.
Yes, yes.
And these aren't word for word. This is not like a literal, this is what I see, feel, hear, and understand as you speak.
Yes, yes. And everyone has a different experience of the light language or the resonance of it. And then all of a sudden you have an idea, a creative flow comes to you, or some compassion for a human being that you didn't get along with, all of a sudden starts to change. And you start loving yourself a little bit more. And when you do that, it shifts the entire frequency of your timeline. That I can tell you.
So
that I can promise you.
This is so synchronistic, because on my way here, I was recording video in my car, which I love. We were talking earlier about how we speak light language in the car.
Yes.
And you guys have, maybe if you've seen these videos, seen me do it in the car. And you brought up a really valid, not just valid, but a validation for me, which I appreciate. So I knew this, but it's nice to hear somebody else kind of say, oh, this is what I know or feel that I'm doing. And not only are we shifting by speaking light language just to ourselves or toning or whatever, we then change our frequency, which changes our timeline, which also changes the others that are connected with us in those timelines, meaning that it shifts their frequency as well if we are all in coherence.
Yeah.
And as you were speaking as driving through places, you know that you're shifting the energy in the places that you're driving through.
Yes. So when I do drive, it's usually a long distance, an hour or so. And that's when I utilize it, because I have no interruptions. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not shy about it. And they just really, these beings really just flow through. And sometimes it's super, super fast and I can't even catch my breath.
Yeah.
And I have to tell them, please, can we just slow down a moment?
Come on, guys.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can we slow down a moment here? But I know telepathically it is for the resonance of the earth. I also see grid lines, ley lines. I'm surprised that I see them, because I thought I was the traditional light worker.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that because we are multidimensional, you can be a way shower, a light worker, a grid worker. You can, you know, you're starseed, you're from the universe. You have so many possibilities of being and doing and changing the universe that you cannot pigeonhole yourself to say that you're just this.
I love that.
No longer, because we're in a different frequency as we are moving through the galaxy. So they telepathically will speak to me, and I listen. Now, everybody has a gift. I've had this gift since I was young. Yes, I ignored it, but you know my story. I had 2 children. I had a 20-year-old that had passed away in 2015 and a 19-year-old that passed away in 2016. And on a metaphysical level, I know they had to leave in order for me to stay here and do the job that I signed up for prior to coming into this vessel that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it. I don't like it, but I'm not going to negate why I'm here. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to help every soul on this beautiful blue jewel, this love of Gaia that I love so much. I'm going to help these souls. And if these beings came to me and they want me to change the vibration of others to help them, then I'm going to do it. This is like a no-brainer for me. This is the easiest job I've ever had besides being a mom. Yeah. So And I say to the world who wants to bring unbalanced energies and negativity, bring it, because you got the right one. Because I'm going to transmute it. And when you're finished with me, you're going to like me. So.
Oh, I love it. You know what? And it's funny though, I want to go back. So basically what you just said in a nutshell, we could go into so many different directions, and we will. This is not going to be our first our first and only interaction. This is just our first sharing. Beautiful. Because the thing about you, Sheldon, is you are layers. We're all layers, but you've got a lot of layers, a lot of life experiences. And I know there's a lot of other people out there who can benefit from not just your story, but what you have, what you are expressing from the expression that you are, and how you've come about making these expressions and the steps that you've taken to get here. And I really do want to address that, but I want to stay in flow as well. And you brought up the fact, I love the fact that you're not going and forcing, even though you're the disruptor of disruption. And I love that. You just
I'm a spiritual warrior.
Yes. And I saw you when we first connected. I have no concept of time.
No, neither do I. And I get told about that all the time. Like, oh.
I don't.
Really?
Yeah. And even with this new year, I'm like, it felt like it's 2020. Hasn't it been 2020? Like
for a long time, yeah.
Yeah. So when we first connected, though, you're talking about you're seeing these ley lines and you're seeing all of this. I wanted to just touch on that briefly. I saw you as carrying all these lines, and everywhere you went, you were changing where the lines were and changing how the lines lined up and shifting the energy, almost like a grid, a network. So one of the things I've discovered as well, to touch briefly on what you just said, is that when we hit certain subjects, the people that are going to be watching this and sharing in this experience with us, there's other ley line workers and grid workers and people out there. We all are. So we got 5 different things going on. A, we touched briefly on your life experiences. B, we touched briefly on what you bring to the table. And I like what I've referred to months back as a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Right? Why put yourself in a box? And I love the fact that we're communicating this way, because it's like we're all over the place.
Yes.
There is no time.
No. I mean, there really isn't.
Yeah.
We just don't know that as of yet. And as time goes on, we'll see the synchronicities in life that will come faster, or manifestations will come much faster. Mm-hmm. And I always say you should be benevolent in your thoughts and benevolent in your judgment and speech towards others, because it comes back to you tenfold much quicker than it did prior to us coming into the 4th and 5th. And I believe Guy is really going into the 6th. So we leave no man behind. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, is that even if someone's not awake right now, they will not be left behind going into this new phase of our lives in the multidimensional and timelines. And we can get on a quantum physics level, and which I understand science and physics so well when it comes to this universe. Mm-hmm. But to know that no one, even the naysayer, even the person who is just like, they don't believe in anything, their soul doesn't get left behind. I'm like a soul whisperer. When you meet with me, my clients, I just wake up your soul to know your purpose, why you came here, and to release any karma or any unbalanced energies that will sway you from your purpose being here. And everybody's purpose isn't to be the movie star, the rock star, the singer, look at little old me. I'm just here disrupting in the market. I'm okay with that. I don't need any fame because I'm doing my part.
Well, it's the golden rule.
Yes.
And not only that, you're not forcing yourself on others. You're just you're showing up for who you are, but you're not afraid to show up for who you are.
No,
either.
I'm not.
And that's what I love about you.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just touch back on that because it's like, here I am, and you can try to do whatever you're going to do. It's not like you're fighting anything. You're not battling the bad guys.
No, I'm praying for the bad guys. I'm asking for the, there's over hundreds of millions of angels. And you can ask for an economic angel. You don't know how to cook, you can ask for an angel to help you to cook. You don't know how to draw or draft a letter, propose to someone, ask an angel. They'll be there, they'll help you. But you just have to say it out loud.
I love that. I used to, everybody knows about the parking angel.
Yes.
The traffic angel.
Yes. But there's so many more that if you did, I promise you, they will show up. Yeah. And they're on the sidelines and they're like, ooh, if you would just ask, we can help. But you have to ask out loud because this is a duality, a dual, multifaceted world here. And we have to speak up because I explain to people, like if you're in a stadium, I'm going to say the Yankees, okay, because I'm from New York. So if you're in the Yankees and then you're in the dugout and then the Angels are up in the high mile club, your thoughts are all the people rip-roaring, and they can't understand or decipher which thought is the dream or which thought is the intention that you want.
Oh, I love that.
And so that's why, because that's why you end up with, oh, I didn't want that. Oh, I got that car, but that's not the car I wanted. Or I got the boyfriend, but that's not the one I wanted. Or that's the job, but I really didn't want that job. Well, because you weren't clear in defining what you wanted, but you have to speak it out loud.
Yeah.
And it could be at a whisper, but they just have to hear the resonance of your voice.
Yeah. And I think that you brought up a valid point too on the resonance. I look at it more of, for me, I kind of think of it as, how does it feel? And if you're asking for one thing, but they're picking up on your vibration, and I say we can say angels, we can say our higher selves.
Right. It is your higher self.
But exactly. Whatever you resonate with, the universe is picking up on that frequency. And so if you're putting out this frequency and you're saying, I want a boyfriend, for example, and they bring you a boyfriend because you're in a place of, let's say, self-doubt, fear, or lack of self-worth. Again, it's that, what are you putting out there? And you have to be specific, or at least ask for, show me what it is that I want if you don't know.
And they will show you that too.
No, be careful what you ask for.
Well, you'll end up going to a movie that you never thought you would ever go to, or you'll start going to plays or something that just is nudging you to try something different. And listen to your inner self, because it's really your higher self that's speaking to you.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to explain to people when they come to see me, is that I'm just a conduit. I just can hear and feel much more of what your own self is saying. And so let me help you in that sense. But
I'd love to touch on that briefly too. I'm going to pause this just for a second. Okay. So you just hit a really valid point. And because a lot of times people, when I work with them, you're saying, your guides, go to a different movie, go to a different play. You're being guided to go there, because oftentimes, don't you find that people come to you and they ask questions like, well, how do I know if I don't know that my guides are talking to me. I'm not getting any guidance. I've asked. So then, I'm asking and I'm not getting anything. And I think that was a good point you just brought up. It's that nudge. Yes. It's that nudge that we ignore. And you said, I listen.
Well, I say to my higher self and the beings, whoever's speaking to me telepathically, you have to be in my face. Like, I have to know.
Yeah.
Don't be shy with me, because I need to, so my yes is the size of your body. Like my Y is the size of you, my E, and that's a yes. And my no's are, and
can you describe those a little bit for people that are going, well, how do I know what my yeses and nos are? And I want to go backwards and say they're different for everyone. I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're referring to, but others listening may not.
Yeah. So I used to get a faint yes or a faint no, or I used to see the word yes or see the word no. But for me, it wasn't enough so that I was comfortable enough when I'm conveying a message or if they're telling me something and I said, you know, you need to be in my face. And that's how I talk to my higher self and my angels. I need to understand exactly what you want me to do and say, but you need to be extremely loud for me, point it out for me, and I'm going to listen. And so when I started doing that, that's when they all of a sudden, you know, my messages became much clearer. I may be wrong about my own self, but I'm never wrong about anyone else. And that frequency can change as well. You know, you can't go by every psychic or medium that is going to be like, because it's not, because the energy in itself and the frequency changes. And remember I said we're like radio stations, and we're tuning and other aspects and other looping and parallel the multidimensional things happen that we have no control over. And unfortunately, sometimes we get swung into that pendulum. But you have to take a moment and step back, take a deep breath. I can't express how breathing is so important. And if you breathe in and you breathe out, and then you can ask your higher self, and you can ask the benevolent one or angels or whomever, your ancestors, your guides, to please help you. And they will help you. They love us unconditionally. I can't even express to you how much love. It's a love you can even comprehend. I can't even comprehend it sometimes, but it is so magnificent, and it's just, you're not alone. You can't see them, but if you knew what others could see and feel, you are never, ever alone. And I'll tell you this, to know that when I pray for the world, no, I'm praying for you as well. And that all works out for everyone. So if you think no one's in your corner praying for you, I am.
Yeah, we got this girl right here.
You can count on me. Because I'm going to disrupt some unbalance.
Yes. And you know, breathing, I talked about this with Jess in the last video that I did, and she was saying the same thing, how important it is to breathe. And that's the first step, I think. So we could talk about all these other steps, but we have a tendency to be
shallow breathers. We hold our breath in tense moments.
Yeah.
And if you would just take a nice deep breath.
Be still and know.
Because help is on the way. Once you start breathing, because it just lets your cells know that, okay, I'm going to calm down. It just tells the universe, okay, it's a call for help, really. It's like a beacon lost out in sea, and all of a sudden the beaker goes off, and now help is on the way. The Coast Guard's coming because they can feel that breath, and they say, okay, we're going to help you. Everything is going to be all right.
Well, we could go so multidimensional on that. The breath is the life. Everything is in the breath. The breath is telling us we're alive. And what we do when we do that, we are holding that space. It's like that. I think there's this one author that I love. It's called Healing with Love. I can't remember the name of the author now, but it's that inhale you're bringing in, and you're exhaling, you're manifesting. You're holding it in creation. I could be messing that up, but it doesn't matter. Either way,
it doesn't matter, Carrie. It doesn't matter how you breathe it in and how you breathe it out, because it's working for you. And whatever words or whatever thought you're thinking when you're breathing it in and you're breathing it out, as long as that is helping you evolve, then you can't do it wrong.
Yeah, and I love that. You said good words, good deeds, good thoughts. Now, there are those people, I want to go backwards to what we could hit so many subjects. I'm having trouble narrowing it all down. So I'm going to play with a couple little things here. One of them was before you were talking about the breath, being clear. And I wanted to just go back to that for a minute, because I do know, based on not only the people I've worked with, but just in general in conversations, that there's a lot of people out there who don't know if they're getting the messages. Some people say, I've asked for this. And the first step I would say in that is to breathe, because in that moment you're allowing. I think a lot of people are getting messages. Now, you're telepathic, and you are also clairvoyant.
And I'm a conscious channeler.
Right. So you've got the ability to see and to hear, right? And I think that's clairaudient.
Yes.
Without putting a label on it. But, and you've been like that since you were young.
I came with the gifts.
Right. Now, I feel like for you, you came with the gifts. I think many people do come with the gifts, but they block them.
We all do.
Right?
We all
you just
do.
you didn't shut it off.
No,
or did you?
My frequency, as you say, my frequency is a little bit higher, and it's always been higher. And as you have to understand too that just because you're in this light and you're in your path, you don't stop working your craft. And what I mean is, I meditate, I breathe, I make sure, I'm trying to take care of myself. So you just don't stop nurturing yourself with your gifts.
Yes.
And you can do yoga, Pilates, exercise, eating right. And everybody knows what's good for your body. Your body will let you know. And when it's not working out, your body will let you know that as well.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking about that too.
Yeah. Like if you don't listen to your body, like right now I have bronchitis and it was borderline. Another day I could have had walking pneumonia. And I was telling you, I said, boy, have I not had, I have not have been paying attention to my body and not taking care of myself and walking in my truth and standing in my truth and saying enough's enough. I can't do anymore. I can only take care of me right now. And, because I do love the world and I'll try to help everybody as much as I can. And I'm still walking with grief. So, I'm doing the best I can, but I tell you this, I'm ever so kind to myself. I never pass judgment on, oh, why can't you lose the weight or why can't you this or that? I say, oh, come on, my love, you can do it. It's not easy, but I could be in despair. What fun would that be? I couldn't disrupt anyone. So I rather disrupt.
Oh, that's so funny.
Be disrupted.
That's right. Everything that you just said, you can put on a coaster. Love yourself, honor your body.
Yourself.
If you don't know what your body is telling you, you do know. You're just ignoring it.
Yes.
If your muscles are tight, it means you're supposed to stretch and do some yoga. If you can't stop thinking, it means go and ask for help. Whether it be from somebody like a meditation expert or somebody like Sheldon or your
sit
neighbor.
in a salt cave, try something different like that.
Go have a conversation with a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Do something. Like you just said, you are always working.
Yes.
And I think that was important too, because, and also loving yourself, not judging yourself. So, all right, so I got to do some toning now. Stay in flow, honor that flow.
Yes.
Uene he este a kukuene he yin he kia ya handa este uwe he do uwe indi it este ak inde yeni it yendro okur. So as we share in these energies, I'm just going to share while this kind of happens. It's very organic. And when we collaborate like this, and it's very synchronistic, symbolic, that as we were just talking about, ask for help, talk with someone, get some guidance, or take some time to not talk to anyone, go within. When we do this, it's opening up that communication with your higher self. It's saying, I am listening, and whatever needs to show up. And as we're doing this organic collaboration, it's almost like we touch on a subject and the energies come in to assist. Oh, that's what we're talking about? Okay, let's give a little light language. And I'm getting goosebumps everywhere as I say this. And this is the new way. Let's have a conversation about it. And it doesn't have to be in the English language. Let's do some toning and help people that might be listening that are like, how do I find this? How do I get all this information coming in? And you guys, it's not us doing the work. It's all of us.
We can't do it without each other. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I can't do it without Carrie Yvonne and the guy across the street, or the worker at Dunkin' Donuts or somewhere. We are all connected, so connected, unbelievably connected, that I wish you could know the strength that you have, the worth that you have, the knowledge and understanding that you do have.
Yeah.
That you would then see the world a little bit different, and you'd almost have theme music dancing behind you because you are a warrior in this universe. I call them like gangsters, like what's his name? Matt Kahn.
Yeah.
You know, we're all little gangsters here.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He really is. I love him to death.
Yeah. I love the fact too. It's about fun. So it's about not taking ourselves so seriously. Because I don't know about you, but when I first started in this path, which we've always been in this path, but when I was like, wait a minute, I need to get my stuff together and I need to get out. I was like, serious.
Yes.
I can't mess around. And then I got sick.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what it is too. Now that you mention that, okay, in sickness, is because they're telling me that I have to go to the next level. And I'm like, really? I'm all right going to the grocery store. Are you sure? I'm all right. Just going to the gas station. Just walked it. And so I know what's to come next, and I'm afraid. And it's a good nervous being afraid, because that's showing that you are alive, and you know, what are you going to do? The door is open. They just want me to walk through it right now. And I'm just like, I don't know.
Dragon. No, I'm okay right here.
Yeah. That's just how I'm going. And then who pops up? So like I said, I don't know if you want to mention the fact that I'm going to do a soundtrack with my light language.
Yes, I do. I would love for you to go into that.
Okay, when you want to bring it up.
Let's do it now. We're in flow. Let's do it.
So I send you a soundtrack, a recording of it, and then I sent it to a friend of mine in Brooklyn. She says, "Oh my goodness, I can fall asleep to this. You should make a CD." Well, we don't do CDs any longer, but I said, "What? Really?" And then I reach out to you, and then you're like, last week, "Oh, do you have it ready? Because some people want to listen to." I'm like, oh. What? Okay. So now see, the universe is sending another breadcrumb, and it's giving me another nudge. Mm-hmm. And the beauty about the universe is that I can go forward and do the soundtrack, or I cannot, and the universe will be fine with me either way. Yeah. But because these beings want to speak to the world and help transmute and change things and make the world better, I'm going to do the soundtrack. So,
So I love the fact that you just brought up, you hit, so many nuggets are in one sentence that you're offering. So eventually we will dissect this a little bit more, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. Today. Woo! And I want to touch briefly on that because, so I'm going to go backwards. Part of it was, I love the fact that you're talking about, I got sick. Being sick sometimes means we're going to the next level because we're detoxing.
Yes.
It isn't always a bad thing.
No.
And it's not fun necessarily.
Mm.
In addition to that, let go or be dragged. But on the flip side, I love the fact that you're saying, I don't have to if I don't want to.
No, you don't.
Mm-mm.
The universe and the benevolent one won't say, oh, shame on you, or you signed up for this, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I love the fact too, because you've got the nudge. You had several things come up to remind you.
Too many.
Do it, right. And now you can choose to move forward or decide, you know what, it's not for me, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to point out too, though, you know, one of the other things I see about the language that you're presenting and offering is, and the energy and vibration behind it, is that it's not even about, it is about transmuting. Whatever word and label you want to put on it, integration is what I always like to call it.
I love that word.
Assisting others and integrating those energies, transmuting. But it's also your truth. And it's also, well, there's so many other ways we could look at it, but the word that came through, and I lost it because I'm in so many different places right now, but others out there that listen to it may be stimulated by it to begin speaking it as well. Yes. So it helps us sometimes remember, oh, I get that, or they might understand it. Some people don't speak it, but they understand it. And we all understand it on a cellular level, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what the dialect is.
Right. And in fact, I speak 4.
Mm-hmm.
But as I gradually went through 1, and then the second one, and the third one, and now this 4th one, that's when I met you. And then I had a better understanding of who these beings are and why they're speaking to me.
Can you talk a little bit about that too? That'd be great.
Yes.
What we talked about, and then what you've kind of come in to discover since.
Yes. So when you and I had a session together, I started speaking the light language. I didn't think I would, and I started consciously channeling as well with my twitching and my head.
Yeah.
And you told me that these beings are from the first earth. They're millions of years old. And from there, I did seek out another person, and I spoke the language first to them to see what they would resonate and tell me. And they are beings from millions of years ago. And they just feel like us human beings, once again, are parasites here, that we don't take care of Mother Earth. And so I said to myself, then, are they here because we're going the wrong direction? And they're here to help us so that we don't destroy Earth? Or are they here because there's enough of us consciously that can resonate and understand and shift and be a grid worker and a way shower and a light worker and change the atmosphere, change the energy within Gaia for the other beings there as well? Or is it just for us to change as a whole and shift? And because we've shifted now to the 5th, and we're leaving duality, and I'm going to be optimistic and hope that it is for that we are in the right direction. And that's why I believe that I'm to put out this music with the light language so that we can help others who aren't aware of it. They may pick it up and it just might start changing, where I think the youth.
Yes, was where I was hoping you were going to go with that, because I saw it as and so I want to go backwards to that really briefly. These beings, you know, I think it's interesting that they're from the first earth, or from our perspective, at least.
Yes.
And this is not meaning that that's the only place that they're from, because
no, they're not. No,
they're multidimensional.
Yes.
And there's been were seeds. So that is where they were, I could say, rooted in one aspect, or how they are connecting with you through that love of Mother Earth, Gaia.
Yes.
Which we know the names are, doesn't matter if it's Earth, Eartha, Gaia, Terra, whatever.
Yeah.
It's same thing. It doesn't matter if it's Carrie, whoever I was in that life, whoever I was in the life before.
Right.
I am one soul connected to all the soul groups. Earth is a planet connected through all the versions of herself to all of the planets, to all of the universes, to all of the cosmos, etc. Infinity.
So she is known throughout the universes. I mean, the galaxies. This blue jewel of this university of learning and why these souls come here. So she is well respected in that sense, and she's just coming back to her glory of where she used to be, and how magnificent is it that we chose to come and enjoy this beautiful world where you just could see the mountains and oceans and my beautiful whales.
Yes, I want to talk about that before, though, the youth. So one of the things about the youth with your light language and what Sheldon's bringing to the table, what you're bringing to the table is a certain frequency and energy that I think any age group can connect with.
Yes.
Because you have this vibrancy about you, and there are some star seeds that really connect more in a stronger way with the older community. And I'm not saying that from a linear,
I'm
just saying, right. And there's a lot of
like
kids
apple pie, and I might like peach cobbler.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. I love both.
Me too.
Again, so we're a little bit of dabbling in everything, and I think more and more star seeds are. Whereas the old way, it's like, okay, I'm an indigo, I'm a crystal, I'm this, I'm a rainbow.
Not anymore.
I'm a rainbow. That means I'm all of that.
Yeah.
And also I see that also important for how are we going to communicate through all of the age groups, from old to young. And the more we can bring that together and have less separation, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that with your the song and all of the way that the messages that you're bringing through are of just pure love and light?
These beings, I can't even express to you because I can't on a level of our comprehension of the depth in which they love. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it overwhelms me. It brings me to tears. The love that they have for all humanity, the earth, the ebb and flow of the ocean, the birds, the bees, every insect, every particle on this earth always and will always be loved by the universe. And if you could only feel what I feel when they do show up, when I'm a little sad or if I'm crying, and they just engulf me like it's like it's like your mother 10 times, 10 of your own moms hugging you and telling you it's going to be all right. It's just unbelievable. And I just have such hope for humanity and knowing that they're here helping us. And
you guys, if you're sensitive, you can tune into this now. It's there. It's so, it literally feels like a warm blanket.
Yes. And you might get a nudge as you're walking, or you're watching a movie or something and you get a tear in your eye and you have compassion for whatever's in front of you. I mean, that's the love times 10 that they have for us, and they want us to succeed and live a viable life and fun. And that's most of all, I think they want us to have fun.
Yeah, I love, so we're going back to that. Having fun, not taking this so seriously. And the youth connecting back in with these, because a lot of, there is this, I think there is a disconnect. I don't have children. And I see it, I've taught yoga for kids. I've gone through yoga teacher training for children. I love children. That's a whole other ball of wax about my past life with all of that, with all the children that I do have.
Yes.
By the way, I want to talk about that briefly on a multidimensional level. I connect with my children.
Yes.
All the time.
Your soul children, yes.
Soul children.
And sometimes it's the reason why a woman may not have children in this lifetime. She says she must have had 10 or 12 or, 8 in her past life. And you chose to this time come in and be able to view children on a different level where you can help them, where you can help like a mom can.
Right.
And so it takes a village. Takes a village.
I love that. And we are trying to reestablish that connection with this younger group, as well as the older group is too. Bridging, we're the bridge.
Yes.
We're bridging all of this together. And, So that you're going to bring in more of a different approach to all this. And so I'll provide, when you get that going,
yes,
be sure we'll be on top
I
of that.
have no choice now.
With everybody. Notice we said when, not if.
Yes.
It's in the work. It's in the works, guys. And
Yes,
you just have such a beautiful voice, and I was going to totally put you on the spot. I don't know, with your throat being the way that it is, if you wanted to do a little sharing, or if you felt like it wasn't going to be able to be to your full extent because you're singing or your light language or whatever. If you want to just share a little bit of that, a little flavor, more than welcome to. Or we can do that next time.
We'll do that next time.
Yeah.
And maybe I can have some of the soundtrack. I'm not a singer per se, but when these beings take over my voice and I'm doing the light language in a tone that's quite different. It's quite different than when I'm speaking to you right now.
Yes.
When I'm doing it towards the music.
It's so soothing.
It's very, very, it's like you're underwater and you're being rocked by a baby turtle or something. I don't know. It's just absolutely beautiful.
So let's talk about the whales.
Okay, so when I meditate, I get visions, and I got a vision that the blue whale, is that the big ones, right? The blue whale? They were swimming backwards with their tails counterclockwise. And it was like 6 of them. And I said, I wonder if they swim backwards. So I don't know if it was you or someone else said, well, maybe they are changing the frequency. And so now all of a sudden I'm watching Blue Planet. And guess what? The whales, they jump up and they come back and they swim backwards. And I'm like, what the heck? Who knew that I never knew whales could swim backwards, but I guess they can.
I didn't look it up, but I do feel that whales, and I don't remember who said this a long time ago. I might have been Cryon. Talked about the whales holding the crystalline frequency.
Mm,
and
they do.
I look at it as we all hold the crystalline frequency, but they're already in that vibration.
They are. They're like the 12th dimension. Yeah, they really.
Yeah. And what's interesting is we could go into this, and the whale, I had written down several weeks ago, whenever I'm not sure about a time, I say several months ago. I have another friend, Candace, that says, 2 weeks ago. It's our ongoing joke. And I'm like, it was a year ago. No, it was 6 months. I don't know.
Yeah.
But tail of a whale.
Mm-hmm.
I kept writing tail of a whale, tail of a whale. And I think I did a channeling, which I don't even call it channeling anymore, but of a story having to do with that. And I'm fairly sure we're gonna play with that down the road, because I have a feeling it's gonna take us into another, it has something to do with physics.
Yes.
So the other thing is
physics.
Yeah, sonar tail of a whale. And also recently, I don't know if, and don't quote me on this, but a lot's been going on with Australia. And
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I have a dear friend that lives there, and she sent me an email this morning.
Yeah.
They're 24 hours behind us in the States.
I'm going to pause this real quick, just get my dog, who's speaking dog speak. Please continue.
So I have a dear friend in Australia who emailed me this morning, and we're 24 hours behind them. And they said that there's a beautiful meta in reference to the fires that are going on there. And it just reminded me of another friend who mentioned the fact that when the American Indians needed rain, I think it was the Lakota tribe, the medicine man or the shaman there said they don't ask for rain, they smell the rain, they see the muddy water. And so I said to her, I'm going to see the first raindrop, and I'm going to hear the sound of the beautiful water hitting your homeland to help save your homeland from burning. And I think if every person, and we don't have to do it all at the synchronized time, because there is no time.
Yeah.
But if you take a moment, just a moment, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and just hear the rain. Even if you play a rain song or you hear the sounds of the rain, just envision it there in Australia, and that, the people are looking up thinking, my goodness, thank you for this rain that's already occurred. I believe we can shift and move and change that outcome for them.
I love that. Beautiful, even as you describe it. And this is something else, even as you say it, I'm there. I already did it. Because
yes,
you
me
just
too.
as you said it, I visualized it. I saw this one raindrop just going across the whole continent.
One drop.
I brought up that because of the whales. I don't know what the relationship is because I haven't done my research yet. But the synchronicities are uncanny. I'm going to go backwards. There's been all this Uluru. And I have a dream. I have a group of girls that I connect with on Instagram. Oh, we got to get you in on this dream circle.
Okay.
Where we just all talk about our dreams. And we are like, it's funny. Sometimes they don't seem like they add up. And I'm going to go backwards for a moment because all the girls have been dreaming about, and I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm going to roll it back in, about dragons. So, and I'd love to talk a little, I'm sorry?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, I'd love to talk a little bit about that too. But the dragon energy has been huge for a lot of people lately, and I've been hearing everybody talking about it. And I just I'd gotten some messages about that, months ago, and I just thought I was maybe behind the time. I don't know. So then, but I love dragons. I love the dragon energy, and I could see the synchronicities lining up. I was seeing it in other people. I thought that is so cool. Make a long story short, it happened for me again today, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But I did dream, and they were dreaming about these amazing dragons. I had been dreaming about a month ago about the whales. Mine were most about the whales. Anyways, I dreamed about right around Christmas, I think, right around that week, maybe a little after. I literally was falling asleep, and I heard the word Uluru yell at me. And I saw light, and I saw an Aboriginal face of a child, and
beautiful.
I saw this the lines in the earth, like strata.
Yes. I see them.
Yeah, so it's like the wavy lines, and it was literally, and it kind of reminded me of what you were describing of seeing that mud move and the water flow.
Yeah.
And I had seen that, and I went into meditation about it. Now, I'm only bringing this up because I just read something about the Aboriginals having this connection with whales somehow.
They do, yes.
So that's something that I don't know anything about in this linear version of me. Obviously, I do.
Yes, you do. Yeah, because you're recalling it.
Yeah. And then I heard the next day I told my friends this, and then I found this other light worker, Lisa Renee. She has a whole article on how the dragon lines, the ley lines, and all of that is very connected with Uluru. So then I saw, okay, this is a synchronistic connection. Now I'm seeing the whales as to what you're talking about, tying it in with the tail of the whale that I had.
Yes.
Whales spinning backwards, which I see is creating a vortex.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, because Uluru pops into my mind and everything that's going on in Australia, I feel like there's something going on, obviously, in that region.
That's shifting and changing, and it's a necessary change. Most likely, unfortunately, sometimes, Gaia has a way of, she has to shift and change as well, unfortunately. And sometimes it is at the cost of others' lives. Yes, it's destructive. But she is a baby. She's only like 2 years old in the universe's age line, if we had to give her an age. So,
Baby Yoda.
She is shifting. Yeah.
So I also too, you have such an amazing, your journey, and I'll get a little linear just for a moment because I think it's important to talk about it. I don't want to glass over it, so to speak. To get back to just the simplicity of all of this, your life experiences, you are a mother. You've had major, what one would see as loss in your life.
Yes.
Yet here you are in the space that you're in.
Yes.
shining this light.
Yes.
And it's not just once, twice,
No,
and who
twice.
knows what other things.
And that's what I tell people. You think that because the benevolent one takes my 2 children that I'm not going to have heartache and sorrow again?
Mm-hmm.
No. It just will be different. A different level, a different frequency of sorrow and heartache.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just how you handle the heartache and how you handle the sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to handle it with love for myself first. And then if others don't understand it and can't comprehend it, then, I'll send mercy angels for them.
That's
what I
their
can
journey.
do.
Because
That
what
is
did
their
you
journey.
say earlier? I loved it. You said, well, obviously we've talked about the disruptor of disruption, but you said they're not, that's not going to stand in my,
Not my walk.
you
Not
don't
on my
allow
watch.
it.
No, not on my watch. And if we are here to, some of us are warriors in spirit, walking on the earth here, as you say, earth angels too. And so if the universe and the world needs a person like me to make sure that we balance those scales, well, they've got the right one. The unbalanced energy, here I come.
So I love the fact though too that you brought up, here you are, you're bringing this, you're doing what you came here to do in
I know
essence,
what my purpose is, so I'm not going to
and you're
play
assisting
around with it.
others in
Yeah.
finding their own purpose.
Yes.
Or stepping into that power. But I like the fact that you said, because you're doing it, you're assisting, you're doing your light language, you're in the process of, that's another creative project.
Yes.
You're doing sessions with people, you're tapping into your clairvoyant, clairaudient channeling. So there's all of these sprinkles on your cupcake.
I like that. Sprinkles on my cupcake.
But really, you're also in the process of expanding still. And you said,
yes,
there's something else
hugely
ahead. And it's, you can be a little afraid.
Well, because the unknown.
Yeah.
I have a dear friend that she does not like the unknown.
I think we all have some friends like that.
Yeah.
And you didn't ever bring up the couple things. But I wanted to really hone in on that. It's so funny. I said glass over. I meant gloss over. The words I use my own language.
I've got my own too. It's just some people can understand me and some people can't.
Yeah, and that's okay.
That's fine.
You're in this place of constant expansion. You're constantly working in essence and loving yourself first so that you can show up and take that self-love and self-worth, which then you're able to, because there's that old concept of martyrdom and is over.
That's over.
It's
because who's that for? Is that for, it's not for the benevolent one. It's not for God, because this is a loving God who would never, ever want you to ridicule yourself, talk ill about yourself, or be unkind to yourself.
Yeah.
And we don't know, because we weren't taught this, to love ourselves.
Yeah.
And so to some other people, it may seem like you're being conceited because you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
But I can promise you, the moment you start respecting yourself, and then you love yourself, and then you fall in love with yourself, everything starts working out for the highest and best good for you.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
And that's done through the work and or the non-work. Letting go. Not working so hard at it. Having fun and being in joy and enjoying yourself and your life. And I love the fact that you are still, it doesn't mean that you have all of these gifts and all of these talents, and yet you're still human and you're still afraid, and it doesn't mean you can see everything.
I can't for myself see. I can see for others, and that's the beauty of it. And I'm glad I can't see for myself, because otherwise, what fun would I have here on earth while I'm here? I mean, I think I'll be here to 90. So, which they told me I had an issue with that. When they told me you'll be at like 92, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? These people? You're gonna leave me down here with these people?
Oh,
But anyway.
man. You know what? I love the fact that you're with these people. You're on Earth because you love Earth.
Yes.
That's not going to go away.
Never going to go away. So I could either walk in despair, cry about it, whine about it, complain about it, show judgment about it, or I can, take my the bulls by the horn, and I can dictate how I want to live my life.
Yeah. And also the suffering, I kept hearing self-sacrifice and suffering. There is that group who went through that, did it, been there, done that. That doesn't mean that that's what we need to continue to perpetuate.
No.
Because that isn't.
No. I mean, that's the old third linear thinking. And some will still linger into that. But like I said, no man is left behind.
Yeah.
When we talk about going into the fifth and sixth dimension and things will start shifting. And I wish the news did report all the good things that they don't show you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, it's about 80% good in the world, and they show you this continuous negative spin and unbalanced energies, and that's not how the world really is. And if we could see that, because we're very visual, we're very tactile. But if going to sleep that you are living in a world of bliss and love and respect and honor and caring, then you'll wake up in the morning. And I can't tell you how many kind people I run into. And I'm just like in awe of humanity. It's just they're just beautiful. I'm just like, you're being nice to me? What? Okay.
Well, when you brought up the shaman and the rain in Australia, and you brought up, that's something else that's come up now in several conversations that I've had. And I say this when I work with people too. And I've noticed that other people, it's tactile. You're talking about the description of as if it's already happened.
Yes.
You're visualizing
I see the rain.
You're feeling it.
I smell it.
You're smelling it. You're grateful for it, and you're seeing others around you that are too.
Yes.
And when you're, you don't necessarily. I'm pulling this back into what you just said about you don't necessarily know. For you, I don't necessarily know for me either. I can see it oftentimes, not in the same way you can, but I can see certain things about people's futures or certain messages come through, and my guides are like, you don't need to know.
No, you don't need to know. It's on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah, and even then, sometimes, too, I don't always tell people what I see because my guides are like, they don't need to know.
I don't either, yeah, because sometimes they can't handle that. And but I'm certainly not the one you want to come and see that's going to sugarcoat you and tell you all the things that I'm not the one.
Yeah.
If you want to come and see me, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and get you back on track.
I think that's pretty right on line with how you want your messages.
Excuse me.
You said your messages, give it to me, I want it in my face. And that's your same style that you share with others.
Yes,
too.
I do. Yeah,
From a
I'm
loving
always honest.
Heart open.
Yes, I'm very honest and I'm very tender with it. And you pretty much understand what I'm saying to you when you talk with me. And it calms you down because at least you have knowledge now to know that, this is what's going to happen, or you can change. And I think sometimes people just need the person to listen, and then let's work it out together. And I hold no judgment against anyone. I love the world. I tell you, I have enough love to give half the world.
You aren't kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. No, I'm
She's
very
really,
serious. No.
Whew.
Yes, hugely. So when I tell you I pray for the world and I send out love for the world, I truly, truly do. And so the universe can only give it back to me.
Yeah.
So if you're in my world and you're in my timeline, you're going to get love.
I love the fact too that you were talking about timelines. We haven't really, again, tip of the iceberg, and we'll probably end in a few here, but the timelines, a couple of things is that you brought this up in the beginning and you just touched on it briefly again. Not only in sessions that you're sharing with people, you're giving them an idea of what their future might hold. and,
Yeah.
and a probability.
Yes, a
On
probability.
the flip side of it, it's awesome to think about if you're guided to, if
Yes.
their guidance team, if their higher aspect says, yes, it's okay for them to know this.
Right, because I don't know your spiritual contract.
Right. And
I
you
don't know.
this is something I've talked about with other light workers, boundaries.
Yes, I do.
You know when to share something and when not to, when it's,
right.
And that's, I think, important, which we're not going to go there too much today. But I do feel that from that perspective, it's important to talk about the timelines. Because like you said, you're not going to be on my timeline.
No.
And also others, you're sharing, this is the timeline you're on. And sometimes this kind of work can assist someone in going, no, I don't want to be on that timeline. All right, well then you choose now.
Yes.
And you make that choice to fix that, jump that timeline, integrate it, collapse it, whatever word resonates with you. And how do you do that when you just go back into your heart? What do you do when you see something in your frame that isn't? You just come into a place of love?
There's a couple of things I do. One, I say, okay, because there's a spiritual contract and I don't know if it's yours or mine. And I say, is this lesson that's going on right now, is this lesson for me? What's transpired here? Or is this lesson for them? And am I mirroring myself? Am I missing something that I need to work on to evolve? Or am I being used by the benevolent one for the other person? And are they mirroring something that they need to work out for themselves?
Yeah.
Now, usually I'll speak to their higher self because I have that ability to ask that question because I don't know at that moment. But whatever it is, let me help you in the highest form that I can, either being used to show you that you can be a different person. You don't have to be that way, or you could see things differently. Or is it that I need to speak up for myself and my throat chakra, my third, my throat chakra is closed, or, sometimes I have to walk in my own truth.
Yeah.
So we will be shown different aspects and we'll be shown different scenarios and synchronicities to work that out, that karma out. And so I don't hold judgment and in that sense towards anyone, even if they're swearing at me or they're mad at me or road rage or something, because I don't know where that's coming from. Is that me or is that them? And usually they'll tell me who it's for after a while if it's me.
I love that too, because then you're seeing things as a reflection, because a lot of times things do show up in our reality. They show up in our viewfinder to kind of make us aware of what isn't balanced or what is presenting itself as an opportunity to integrate something and to shift it a lot faster.
Yes.
And sometimes it is for that other person and we're just witnessing it.
Right. And you need another player in this chess game of life in order to move to the next
layer
station. And I think that's beautiful. Sometimes it's not the best and sometimes it's hurtful, but we're here for that. We have duality, and without love we don't know hate, and without hate we don't know joy, and vice versa. So I just quickly get to it and is this me or is this that person?
Yeah.
And if it is for me, okay, I've learned that lesson, and it'll be less the next time. That lesson in particular will be less of a hurt, less of a an upset the next time.
Yeah.
So
or
each time you go
again, you might just clear it.
Yes. Ooh,
in that moment.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, right?
That's the objective of the game.
Yes. And I love the fact that you're talking about this too, because I do feel a lot of people, and I'm just going back because obviously I started calling this KISS, Keep It Simple Starseeds, because I feel like there's a whole group, there's a lot of us out there. I mean, it's endless, we're infinite, but there are beings that do what you and I do in their own beautiful way. And
but they get lost.
Get lost. And
so I do workshops for the
for the lost
psychics,
ones.
the lost ones, for the psychics and for the mediums, because they do lose their way sometimes, and they understand the universe, but I understand it 3 or 4 levels up, And so I like to get to them, and you know, some of them do call me, and we get them back on track because, you know, they need help as well.
Yeah.
We need help. We can't just do it by ourselves.
It's part of this was because we have a tendency to feel alone. I mean, we connect, even when you and I connected, sometimes
Yes.
it's just about getting validation.
Yes, yes. And it's beautiful to have that.
And sometimes it's just a conversation to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Without judgment, without worrying, oh, if I say this, is someone going to take it the wrong way?
Yeah.
Or are they going to think I'm crazy? Or, you know, so, I mean, that's when I had the gift from when I was young. You know, I knew not to talk about it back then. And still today, you know, I'm a little nervous sometimes. And but I go out to dinner with some people, and then all of a sudden it starts, and then I've got to go say something to someone.
Whoops, there it goes. There you go, disrupting things again.
Yes. But I do it in a nice way, and I'm not wrong, but I can see it in their face, and their whole energy field just shifts and changes immediately.
Yeah.
And so my other friends, they sit there and they're like, oh boy, here she goes. I just can't help it.
Yeah. But the thing of it is, I do want to touch on that briefly, because there is an aspect of boundaries, and you have been able to open and be aware and listen.
Yes,
I've had to learn the hard way. Mm-hmm. Definitely in a lot of aspects, but that's okay. That's how I chose to learn. And it was an agreement that we both made, unknowingly necessarily.
No, I was in the same boat as you. It's just that when I lost my boys, you know, now I can focus on why I'm really here. And so I said to them, I'm ready, I'm able, and I'm going to listen to whatever you have to say. And so in that sense, you know, to be fair, my circumstances were changed quite differently. And so I chose then to say, okay, I'm going to walk this walk in this path. And if you want me here, you're going to have to assist me and send me people that can help me, like yourself and others. And I'm going to listen. So I always listen to my inner self, my gut, my third eye, my intuition, whatever you want to call it. I always listen.
Yeah. And we're kind of coming out of the woodwork with one another, because what I've discovered is that's what this is about, because we are, I think I just posted something about this on Instagram. We're like the light posts for people to tether up to during the storm. We're the ones, and we need sometimes each other to tether up to and be like, you got this.
Yes.
We are, we're in this together. I have goosebumps everywhere.
Yeah, because we are walking in the same energy, I'll say, arena. Mm-hmm. And, we're skateboarding and we're flying off the rail there. And as our skateboards are up in the air and we're up in the air, we turn and we look at each other and, Carrie Yvonne, you all right? Sheldon, you all right? Okay. And then we land back on the ground and we get going again.
Right? We just check in with each other once in a while. And I think that's, for me, I was dragging my feet with these videos, the same way you're dragging your feet with your light language music. I did it too. And it's okay, because everything is in divine timing.
Everything. There's nothing. I'm going to stress that to everyone. You are right on time with everything that you do, every hiccup, every upset, every heartbreak, everything that you're going through. You're right on time.
Yeah.
You're right on time.
Yeah. And
to hold no judgment.
No judgment. And the message that I got today was celebrate. Because it's time to celebrate and stop. There's a lot of stuff going on TV.
That's okay. Let them have it. But I mean, if you could have more happiness.
Yeah.
And like the TV show The Office. I mean, that show cracks me up.
I love that show.
That's how life is for me. Yeah. I'm meeting these beings and I see their soul and, these walk-ins and these newbies that just got here. And so I'm just like, oh, you poor soul. I'll just say a little prayer for you.
I love that.
I don't want any, if it doesn't evolve me, don't involve me.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I just want happiness and peace and love and laughter.
Yeah. So we're going to end on that note, you guys, because honestly, we could keep going. This could be a 3-hour show. I know it. Maybe long. We could just infinite until we ran out of lost our voices. It's funny too, because my friend Candace, she just posted something like that today. Like, I come in peace. And she did this little, because it is, it's like, let's just love and have fun. And that's what this is all about.
And I challenge everyone for the next week to find laughter and quirkiness in your life and see and write it down how many times and what makes you laugh. I challenge you.
I love that quirkiness.
Yeah.
So I'm there all the time, constantly. So I want to, what I'm going to do is dissect this later. And I'd love you guys watching. We're going to do this again. And I know there's going to be questions that come through from people. So I welcome those. I get emails. I don't have time. Okay, let me rephrase that. I have more than enough time. But in this particular 3D world, I don't always respond to emails right away.
Right.
And that's not something that I do. I do it when I can. And if the question is for the collective,
right.
Or I'll do sessions with people. Sheldon does sessions. I'm going to provide her information because, as I've mentioned before, we all have different things that we're bringing to the table. And sometimes somebody may not click with me, and that's okay.
That's
and they
beautiful.
might click with you, and it might be this beautiful puzzle or jazz or anything. And that's what I think this is kind of all about. I use the example that, and that's what we're here to do, is say,
it's a smorgasbord.
Yes. And that's what's so cool about this. And I recognize this during this interaction. I'm like, I am meeting these light workers, and this is a co-creative collaboration. I am getting equally activated here. And that's what we're doing, was we're assisting in this. But so I'm going to end on that note. I'll hit pause on the recording, and I'll do a little end. But one thing else, we're going to probably talk in the future. My guess, Sheldon, would be more about these beings. I think it'll be fun. I think we should do like a little light language back and forth.
Okay.
At some point. And also maybe at that time, you'll be better and you can give us a little taste of some of the just flow that comes through, whether you finished your CD or not, which is funny because as soon as I say that, I see it as a data rainbow. And also touch on some of the things we talked about. I know more will come up about Australia. I know more will come up about the whales. And I also really want to touch more in our future conversations about the life experiences and break that down a little bit, because I know that's where these conversations could end, the dimensions we could go on forever. So I'm going to have you hang on just for a minute, Sheldon, if you don't mind. And thank you so much for sharing your light.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to show my light, shine my light, and disrupt.
I love it. Yes, thank you for disrupting things in such a beautiful way. And in love and light, guys, namaste. Until the next time.